You are here today because your Ohioans job interest inventory matched you with the careers in market or business, or because you expressed an interest in these areas. Please welcome Amanda Kretschy, General Manager of Jackson County Broadcasting.
Hi guys, thank you for your interest in marketing. We're going to probably go through this pretty quickly today because we're kind of short on time. One of the big things about marketing is that you are trying to shape the general public's view of a product or a company, right? So I give you guys all tickets, and what I'm trying to do is shape your view of me so that I am the best presentation that you see, right? So, because when you give things to people or you make them happy, then they feel good about things, right? So that's what a lot of marketing does, is you're trying to make the consumers feel good about something so that they'll buy something or that they will think well of a company. I have with me today Gene Gillum, who is the sales manager at Jackson County Broadcasting, and Danielle Staten, who is one of our graphic designers. Jackson County Broadcasting owns 4 radio stations, so WKOV 96.7, 97.7 Country, 98.7 Classic Rock, and then we also have a Fox Sports station as well. We also own the Telegram newspaper and a billboard, and we're getting a printing company. So we've got a lot of things going on, but there's a lot of ways that we can shape consumer views about companies. So we're going to go through this really quick. Do you mind hitting the lights? And we'll get some questions at the end, and then we'll do a drawing for some prizes. So the qualities of a marketing professional. You need to have analytical skills. You need to be able to analyze markets and industry trends. You need to be able to analyze demographics. And some of these words you may not understand, but we'll get into what they mean shortly. You need to be able to analyze budgets. You need to be able to look at the financial overview and be able to decide if it's worth marketing or not. You need to have good communication skills. So you need to be able to talk to others and effectively communicate with not only your coworkers, but also with those who work for other companies, your customers, and then also the general public. You have to be creative. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to be someone who can draw or is good at art, but it means that you have to have ideas. You have to be able to generate new ideas and new thoughts, and have an imagination. Interpersonal skills, so you need to be able to not only communicate effectively, but you have to be able to understand people, right? So not all of us are different, right? Some of us are kind of moody sometimes, some of us are happy all the time, some of us are in a bad mood all the time, but you have to be able to understand how different people respond to different things and be able to work with everybody. You have to have good organizational skills. So you have to manage your time really, really well because you have a lot of things going on and you have deadlines. You have to be able to manage those things. But you don't have to necessarily have all of those skills to be in marketing because as you'll see as we go through this, you can find a different skill set. So maybe you're really good at math and you are the analytical person. So maybe you're the one who looks at the market and you determine the budgets and you determine whether it's going to be financially profitable for a company to market or not. Maybe you're a creative person. Maybe you go into graphic design and you design all of the ads and things like that. Or maybe you're really good at sales and talking to people. So you go into that aspect of marketing. Marketing is very, very broad, as you'll see. So there are a lot of different varieties of job duties. So you can go into true marketing, you can go into advertising, public relations, promotions, branding, sales, or market research. For marketing responsibilities, you'll need to estimate the demand for a product. So what you need to do is you need to look at the market and you need to say, how many people are really going to want to buy my product, right? So if you design something or if your company comes up with a new product, but nobody has any interest in it, it doesn't make any sense to produce it or market it, does it? Because nobody's going to buy it, you're not going to make a profit. So how many of you have a fidget spinner? Okay. Who knew that fidget spinners were going to be so popular, right? So there's a company, whoever developed these fidget spinners, probably looked into it and they thought, wow, there are going to be these kids between the ages of 9 and 15 who are going to love these things, and who are we going to market them to? You have to identify the markets in which the best product will thrive. So if I marketed fidget spinners to Gene or to me, we're probably not going to be interested in fidget spinners, are we? No. It doesn't make any sense to market it to us because we're not going to buy fidget spinners unless we buy them for our children and our grandchildren, right? You need to develop pricing strategies to maximize your market share. So you need to look at, if you're in marketing, you're going to look at what price are people really going to pay for these. So if a fidget spinner is $5, you'll probably buy one, right? If it's $50, would you buy a fidget spinner? Some of you still would. Okay. So the types of jobs in marketing, you start out at the entry level as a marketing assistant, and then you might become a marketing specialist, and then the marketing manager, and then the director of marketing. So a small company may only have one marketing person, and they may be the marketing specialist or the marketing manager. A very large company is going to have several marketing people, and they may have a marketing assistant who is at the entry level, all the way up to the director of marketing who is in charge of all of the marketing for the company. So another aspect of marketing is advertising. And responsibilities in advertising are creating an interest among users of products and services. So who can tell me who their favorite commercial is on TV? Somebody have a favorite commercial?
I always like the one, sadly it's off the air now, but the one with the Tootsie Roll Pop with the owl.
The Tootsie Roll, the Pop, how many licks does it get to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll Pop? That's a good one. So, but that makes you remember it, right? And when the owl's licking the Tootsie Roll Pop, it makes you think, oh, I'd like to have a Tootsie Roll Pop. You have to be creative, have great advertising campaigns. So a really poor advertising campaign isn't going to sell your product, right? The different types of jobs in advertising include an account executive. So an account executive is going to manage the account, right? They're going to find out what it is that the customer wants. They're going to make sure the customer is happy. And they're going to be the primary contact for the customer. Then you've got the media director who is going to figure out how to reach the customers. They're going to decide what media to use. Are we going to use newspaper to advertise? Are we going to use TV to advertise? Are we going to use radio to advertise? They determine how you're going to use the media, and then they initiate those media buys. So they will work with a radio station, they will work with a TV station, and they will try to get the best price they can for marketing their radio spots or their TV spots or their newspaper ads. Then you have the creative manager. The creative manager is the person who oversees the project on the creative level. So they will come up with the ideas for the creative. They will also be working with the graphic designers, the people who sit down on the computer and they design everything, the writers. So just because you are a graphic designer doesn't necessarily mean you're a writer, right? So a lot of times if there's a creative ad that's being developed, there will be somebody who will write all the information for the ad, and then they will send it to the graphic designer, and then the graphic designer will put all of the graphic and art elements together with that copy. Now, where we work, we don't have as many people, so we all have to do a lot of those same jobs. And then you have production. So in television, you have a production studio where they put together the TV spot. Sometimes it'll be kind of like, you know how a TV commercial is a little bit like a movie. So you have a production team, you have a videographer, you have a director. In radio, you have a production person who puts together the radio spot. They voice it, they put the background music in. And I invite all of you, if any of you are really interested in radio or newspaper, you're more than welcome to come up to the radio station on Main Street. We'd love to have you and give you a tour and show you the production room and how we do some of those things. So we're going to watch, I don't know if any of you have seen the show Mad Men, but we're going to watch a short YouTube video. We're going to see how two different advertising teams that work for the company Sterling Cooper Advertising come together, and you'll see when they pitch the presentation, there are always three people in the room. There's the account executive that took care of the account. There is the creative director, right, who has come up with the idea. And then there's the creative person who is actually doing the managing the work and managing the graphics and those kinds of things.
And it's tantalizingly incomplete. What's missing? one thing. Pass the Heinz.
You mean the Heinz ketchup?
It's Heinz. It only means one thing.
It feels like half an ad.
The greatest thing you have working for you is not the photo you take or the picture you paint. It's the imagination of the consumer. They have no budget. They have no time limit. And if you can get into that space, your ad can run all day.
Well, Pete, you said I'd say it. It's pretty bold work. I think I still want to see our bottle.
I thought that at first too, but if
We will test it both ways.
It's a testament to ketchup that there can be no confusion.
Let me chew on it, fellas. You're going to be thinking of ketchup all day, and you didn't even see it. Thank you. We'll be in touch. Oh. Hello.
Hello.
Ted, you want to come in? I hope you left us something.
It's a bake-on. Since when? Come on, Don.
Go wait by the elevator.
This is showing how an advertising agency is very competitive. You want to be the one who gives the
So-
best presentation.
What's the difference between ketchup and catsup? Well, catsup has more tomatoes, comes in a bigger bottle, is cheaper, but tastes just like ketchup. Now we know that's not true, but that's what your competitors are saying. Over and over. And they're selling their watered down, flavorless sauce by pretending that they're you. Makes you angry, doesn't it? Me too. But I always say, if you don't like what they're saying, change the conversation. Heinz, the only ketchup. Imagine this, 40 feet tall in Times Square. Ketchup versus catsup. End of conversation.
So you can see here from this advertising agency, it's very important that you listen to what the customer wants, right? You may have some great ideas, but if it's not what the customer wants, they're gonna turn you down. Jean, you wanna talk about Tecumseh and
Sure.
our local advertising?
Tecumseh, I'm sure most of you are familiar with it, Chillicothe, and it's the live amphitheater show. We work with them every year promoting their show for the season. And of course, they need to have a lot of people come because it costs a lot of money to run that production. So each year when we speak with them, the fellow that runs the place is looking for as much advertising as he can get at the most affordable cost, and not just one type of advertising. He needs some radio, he needs some digital billboards, he needs some newspaper, whatever we can get to reach everybody. Because not everyone reads a newspaper, not everyone listens to the radio, not everybody drives the same roads to drive by the same billboard. So initially, I meet with him to find out what their needs are for that year. Maybe their Thursday night shows are not very busy. So he might want to do a special on Thursday nights to try to fill the theater a little bit better, whatever his needs are. Then after I meet with him to find out what they need, and we discuss some of his desires, then I sit down with Danielle, who is the creative one. You know, I do all the talking, I take care of the money end of it. Then I sit down with Danielle because I really rely on her to come up with the ideas and the exciting ads, the exciting billboards. The radio folks, the salespeople there, and the production there are working on the spots so we can tie everything in together. And all those ads, all that marketing are carrying the same message. Do you have examples?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. So, and that's very key, because even though different people listen to radio or listen to, or watch TV, or they read the newspaper, or they look at the billboard, there are people who do all of those things. So your message needs to be consistent across all of your media. So here we have a newspaper ad. Danielle, you want to come up and talk a little bit about the elements of the newspaper ad?
Yep. Well, Tecumseh, everybody pretty much knows about Tecumseh around this area. So the main point, I would say, is to make sure you get the logo and the colors correct. And this one is black and white. But you see we got the experience, the drama. We want people to feel that, so we use a bold font, something that is consistent throughout all their advertisings. They'll say that on the radio, you'll see it on their billboards, you'll see it in the paper. And it's important to kind of bring that into the ad, because you're focusing on the drama in the words. You want to get a dramatic picture, some dramatic colors, something to bring your attention to the ad, so you can kind of feel what it's all about. Of course, Tecumseh makes it pretty easy because they have some beautiful shots.
Well, and these are billboards you'll actually see on the billboard near Walmart from mid-June to mid-July. So there's 3 different ones, and you will see those up here in another 6 weeks or so.
And you'll notice from the newspaper ad through the billboards, all of the elements stay the same. So experience the drama is the same, and then the pictures are the same as well, so that you see that it's consistent. And then when you get to radio, hopefully this will work.
The best of Ohio's outdoor dramas. One of the top 100 events of North America. Mesmerizing, thrilling, world class. How will you describe Tecumseh? Tecumseh is the best value for your entertainment dollar. Don't go hundreds of miles on vacation when you can go hundreds of years back in time. The ultimate outdoor drama experience is Tecumseh. 2 centuries ago, Tecumseh walked this land. A mighty warrior, a visionary leader, and a hero for the ages. The spirit of Tecumseh still lives today. Experience the world-famous outdoor drama, Tecumseh, near Chillicothe, Ohio. For information and reservations, call 740-775-0700. Your local Pepsi-Cola bottler is a proud sponsor of Tecumseh. Pepsi, refresh everything. Visit us today and find out why we say Ohio is the state of perfect balance.
So you can see that with that radio spot, he said experience the drama twice within that radio spot, right? So the message is consistent throughout. So we've gone through marketing, we've gone through advertising. Now one other aspect of marketing is public relations, which is what my degree is in. From the time I was a senior in high school, I wanted to be in public relations. I wanted to shape people's opinions about things. So the responsibilities of a public relations professional are to generate a positive public image for a company. In the public relations major, we always joked that we were marketing without the budget. So we did all the stuff that marketing did, but we had no budget. So we had to do everything for free. So we wrote press releases. We held events to get information out to the public. We made videos. So all those things cost a little bit of money, but they don't cost the money that is required when you buy advertising on the radio or on TV or in the newspaper. Because when you write a press release and you send it out to a newspaper or to a radio station, a lot of times they run it for free. They also generate programs to promote the company image. So right now I'm promoting my company image because I'm going to give you guys something for free shortly. And then you also do damage control. I don't know if any of you watch the news at all, but you heard about United Airlines recently had a big faux pas in the news. So you're trying to do damage control during those crises. So United Airlines right now is doing damage control. Public relations jobs, there's a public relations manager, and that person does the event planning, media relations, so they're the person that talks to the media. If there is a crisis within a company, the public relations person is usually the person who is designated to be the only person allowed to talk to the media. They write press releases. Then you have a communications manager who may be an internal communications manager who does employee newsletters. They do employee videos on how to do things. One of my good friends from college worked at Home Depot in Atlanta, and he was in charge of all corporate internal communications. Now, from that job, he now works at Nike and lives in Seattle, Washington. He's got a great job. He is the corporate communications director there, and he gets to do a lot of fun things like traveling, meeting really famous sports personalities. He gets new shoes all the time. So there's a lot of fun things that can come from that too. You also might have to be the external communications manager, which means that you're going to deal with customer relations. When there are customer complaints, you have to deal with that. When there are, if you're a really big company and you're in the stock exchange, then you might also have to work with your shareholders and do shareholder relations. Then the next segment of marketing is promotions. So how many of you get the most famous promotion probably you get in your mailbox, if you've ever gotten your mail for your parents, is car promotions, right? They'll send you those flyers with a scratch off, you might be a winner, or bring this key in and you might have won a car. Those are promotions, right? So there is a promotions manager who is just sitting there thinking of these ideas of how we're going to get people in the door. How many of those people have you ever seen anybody actually win a car from one of those keys? No, but it gets people in the door. Just like in, American Eagle or Abercrombie, they may have promotions trying to get you in the door. The people that used to walk around in the mall, the guys that used to walk around with their shirts off, the promotions manager probably came up with that idea. Store displays, coming up with special events, sweepstakes and contests, and then social media. So a lot of the things that you see if you're on social media and ads pop up, a lot of that stuff is from your promotions manager. So then we go into the brand manager segmentation. And the brand manager is in charge of creating and instituting all brand assets. Well, what is a brand asset? Branding makes a company easily recognizable. So think of some brand logos that you can, what are some brand logos you think of? Nike, right.
McDonald's.
McDonald's, the gold arches, right. So those are things that make a company very recognizable. And brand assets can be in the form of a logo, a jingle, a tagline, tastes, textures, scents, right? So when you walk into a mall and you walk by, Bath and Body Works, there's a scent that's coming out, right?
Yeah.
They're bringing you in the door. They want you to come in the door. So that's part of their branding. A jingle or a tagline. Nike's Just Do It is a tagline, right? So that becomes recognizable for that brand. So somebody mentioned the Nike swoosh. The Aflac duck. Everybody knows the Aflac duck, right? You see that duck and you hear Aflac. You know exactly what it is. What about the Geico gecko?
Oh, I like it.
Everybody knows that, right? Or the Allstate Mayhem. Those are some of my favorite commercials. Mayhem comes in and you don't want mayhem, do you? So those are things that are branding. And you know exactly what company goes with Mayhem. You know exactly what company goes with that gecko. Then another segment of marketing is market research analyst. So this is the people who are really good at math and analysis. This is for you. So these people study the market. They estimate potential sales and profits. They really need to understand their demographics. So a demographic is a segment of the population. So my demographic is 40-year-old soccer moms, right? Your demographic is tweens, right? Jean's demographic is grandmothers. So there are different demographics that you want to market to. So again, if you market fidget spinners to me, probably not going to buy it. If I market a fidget spinner to you guys, you'll probably buy it. And tweens, by the way, is one of the biggest demographics there are. So when Saturday mornings or in the evening, they are going to just bombard you with different commercials because they know you're paying attention. Different things that pop up on YouTube, because everybody is on YouTube now. So a lot of those things will pop up on YouTube, and it's all based on things that you have already been to. Maybe you've been to a website, and it takes a little bit of a cookie, and then it pulls up a commercial that is directed just to you because it has figured out what the demographic is. So if you have a product, you need to determine who's going to buy that product and at what price. So again, if I sell a fidget spinner for $50, probably not going to sell. But if I sell it for $5, I'm probably going to sell a lot of them. And then the last segment of marketing is a sales manager. The sales manager coordinates the efforts with the promotions manager, the marketing manager, and the market research analyst. So sales manager needs to kind of be responsible for making sure that the sales are there. They manage the sales force and set goals. They enforce the profit projections for the team and the organization. Jean?
I'm sorry.
That's okay. Jean is our sales manager.
I
So-
missed the question. I wasn't paying attention.
We're talking about sales managers. So can you tell us a little bit about what you do as a sales manager?
I'll tell you, no 2 days are the same, which is partly why I really enjoy the job. I could be spending time with the customer, making a sale myself. Of course, it requires a lot of listening. If you don't listen to what they need, you're not going to make that sale. I work with the salespeople that work under me and help them do the same thing. I coordinate with graphics to make sure the message the customer wants to relay, we're doing. I put out some fires, which is like troubleshooting if you run into some problems, and you never know when those are going to pop up. I have done this for 37 years, and no 2 days have ever been the same. That's partly why I love this job. It can be exciting, challenging, frustrating, but it's always fun, always.
So where do all these jobs exist, right? I've gone through all these different segments of marketing. You can go to work at an advertising agency or a public relations agency, but do you know of any advertising agencies or public relations agencies in Jackson County? No, there aren't any. So those agencies are usually found in metropolitan areas such as Columbus, Cincinnati, Chicago, New York. But there are also large companies that need marketing professionals. Those are found mostly in larger areas too, but also can be found in small areas. Now, if there is a large company, they may have a branch here, they might have one marketing person in the area, but usually the big marketing department is at their corporate headquarters, right? But there are also medium-sized companies, and there are lots of medium-sized companies in southern Ohio, in the rural areas, that employ 2 to 5 marketing or public relations employees. So for example, locally we have Holzer Health Systems. I know that they have 1 public relations person and at least 2 marketing people. Adena has about the same. Nursing homes. Nursing homes have, believe it or not, a lot of marketing people. They have marketing people who go out into the community just to create events and create awareness about their organization. They have marketing people who go out and try to get residents. So there are a lot of different ways that you can become a marketing professional locally without having to leave the community. Banks. Banks are a great one. I worked at 3 different banks in marketing. I started as a marketing assistant and then went to a marketing specialist, marketing manager, and then became the marketing director. And then mom and pop shops. So that's what we generally have in the area, right? Are just the little shops that maybe a husband and wife own. They don't have any marketing employees. So what do? They rely on their local advertising media. So they will rely on Danielle to create everything for them. They will rely on our production people at the radio station to produce those things for them because they don't have a marketing company, but they still need to market. They still need people to know that they're there. What are the education requirements? You need, for an entry-level to mid-level job, you need a degree. It really doesn't matter what degree you have. I have a degree in communications and public relations, but there was also a marketing major at the school that I went to at Ohio Northern University. There's also people who have business degrees or journalism degrees, communications degrees, English degrees, who happen into marketing. For the highest level jobs, they generally want you to have a master's degree or experience. So if you have worked your way up, you can still get to those highest level jobs without a master's of business administration, but generally they would like you to have that, especially when you work in the bigger cities. Other requirements are internships, internships, internships. So when you are looking for a college, You want to ask them, how is your internship program? Do you help your students find internships? Because that is how you get a job when you're done. I worked at a public relations an advertising agency in Hilton Head, South Carolina as an intern when I was in college. I also worked at the radio station. So there are lots of different things that you can do, and you really need to diversify. So don't just get one internship and then go back to that same internship every summer. Try to do different things to make yourself more marketable. Salaries. Now, the Bureau of Labor Statistics will tell you the average salary is $108,000. That is a lie. It depends on where you live, right? So just as marketing jobs are very broad, so are the salaries. So why that looks so high is because most of the marketing jobs, the really high-level marketing jobs, are all in the big cities, the metropolitan areas, where the cost of living is higher, so they've got to pay you more. So when you think about this area, entry-level starting salary in Southern Ohio is about $20,000. In the Midwest metros, it's about 25 to 30. It might be a little bit higher in the big cities. Mid-level in Southern Ohio is about 30 to 40,000. Senior level in Southern Ohio is 50 to 60,000, and then executive is 60 or over. Midwest metro, I'm talking about like Columbus, Cincinnati. Mid-level is about 50,000 or more. Senior level is 75,000 or more, and executive about 100,000 or more. So just keep in mind that the salaries in the metropolitan areas like New York, LA, Chicago will be much higher, but so is the cost of living. So the good news is that marketing jobs are projected to continue to grow, at least 5% over the next 7 years. So I know you guys still have a little bit of time until you are out into the professional world, but that's good news that they're going to continue to grow. You get to do something you enjoy every single day. Like Jean mentioned, no 2 days are alike. So you're doing something you enjoy every day, and you're challenged every day. There's always something new that you are challenged to do. Maybe it's learning a new program. Maybe it's working with a new customer, but there's always something new. Because we're running out of time, we're going to do our, turn the lights, we're going to do our drawing really quick, and then we'll go to questions. So what we're giving away 10 passes to Tri-City Theater. Yeah. So look at anybody not have a ticket?
Everybody has a ticket? Okay, the first number is 276-8264. I'm just going to give you the last three numbers. I think that'll work. 262.
There you go.
263. 252. 266. 268. 271. Yes. You just said you weren't going to win.
Got 3 left.
204.
Are you kidding?
Will you please pass this to her?
206.
Oh, are you?
And 203.
I'm just getting surrounded.
Pass that down to him, please. Okay, the next thing we're going to give away is four passes, so you can go with your family, to the zoo. There are 4 passes, so you can go with your parents and one other person.
222.
222?
Oh, is there one left? It's not this one.
Okay, let's pull another one. If nobody has it, let's pull another one.
269.
Okay. And then the last thing we're going to give away is 4 passes to Zambezi Bay.
242.
242. Okay, anybody have any questions? What is it? What's best marketing job. A best part of my job is getting to do something new every day. I love to work with the community and with different organizations. So I go out into the community and work, and by working in the community, which I enjoy, and I'm serving others, I also get to market my company. I also get to let people know about that. So that's my favorite thing. Do you have a favorite thing?
I couldn't name one.
Okay.
Just couldn't.
Lots.
Honestly, I can't.
Do you travel with your job?
I travel to Columbus some to go to meetings and things, but I don't travel a lot. There are marketing people who definitely travel a lot. Your mom's kind of in marketing too, isn't she? So does she travels a little bit, doesn't she? Okay.
Are attendance and being on time important to your boss?
Well,
Yes.
yes, they are. But I will tell you, the more creative atmospheres you work in, the more lenient those kinds of things are for the most part. But it's always, it's dependent on your boss. So you always want to do what your boss expects of you.
And probably when you're meeting clients,
Right.
It's extremely
obviously being on time is
Exactly.
important.
If you're meeting clients, you want to be early, right? Early is to be on time is to be late is unacceptable, right?
What classes should we be taking in school for interest for this period?
It depends on what your interests are. So if you are interested in the graphic design, you want to take art, you want to take computers, right? You want to try to find places in the area that maybe offer some graphic design courses. If you're interested in marketing, then you want to take business classes.
What is the worst part of your job?
The worst part of my job? When you disappoint a customer, or a customer is upset with you, or somebody in the community is upset with you because they feel that you did something wrong, that's the worst part of the job, I think. Is it difficult? It is somewhat difficult in southern Ohio because they are few and far between, but the bigger cities there are more. So it depends on where you go.
Do you have holidays and weekends off?
It depends on your company and what their policies are. When I worked at the bank, we had 10 holidays every year. So we had all the 10 big holidays that you guys get. When banks are closed, the federal holidays, we got those days off, which was great. Now, at the radio station and newspaper, we get 7. It's very dependent on the industry that you work in.
What advice do you have for us?
What advice? Always try your best. Always be willing to please. Always be willing to do what is asked of you and then go above and beyond that. Okay? So I know it kind of sounds weird for somebody to say, be willing to please or be eager to please others, but really that's what you need to do, right? If you're working for your boss or your customers or the public, you're trying to please them. You're trying to make them happy and to think well of you and your products.
How are you evaluated?
How are we evaluated? Well, again, that just is dependent on your company. Now, the sales staff is evaluated because they're given goals. They have to have sales goals. They have to sell so much within the year. And if they don't sell it, they can get fired. Graphic designers are going to be evaluated based on the level of how happy the customer is, right? So if we have a customer constantly complaining about the ads, Danielle's going to kind of be in trouble, right?
Yep.
So really it's all about making your customer happy. So if your customer's not happy, that's how you're evaluated.
That's really kind of who our boss is,
That's right.
you know.
Is attitude important?
Attitude is absolutely important. If you're a sourpuss, you are not going to make it in this field at all. If you're in a bad mood all the time, you are not going to make it. You have to be somebody who's energetic, who is willing to get out in front of people. If you're an introvert, maybe you could be the analytical person who sits behind the desk and analyzes all the numbers, but you're not the person who's going to be talking to the customers, right? You're not going to be the person out in the community.
How many hours a day do you work?
That depends. Sometimes, yesterday I worked 16 hours. But some days I worked 6. Part of the reason I worked 16 hours yesterday is because I was putting together this presentation. So, because there's always, you are always under deadline. So, you know, you tell you not to procrastinate, but when you're in marketing, you always have something. There's always something going on, so there's always a deadline. So sometimes it's not a matter of procrastinating, it's just you can't get to it because there are other things that are on your priority list.
Are there steps at your job for a promotion?
I'm sorry?
Are there steps at your job for a promotion?
Absolutely. So again, it depends on how big the company is. So if there's a company that only has one marketing person, not a lot of opportunity for promotion, right? But if it's a company that has 4, 5, 10, 15 marketing people, there's absolutely room for promotion. Anyone else? Okay, I think we've kept you past the time we were supposed to, so.
She said it would have been till 11.
Oh, okay.
These are some brochures that, I mean, hot off the press, they just got delivered yesterday. This is also something we do at Jackson County Broadcasting. This is the schedule for 2017 of some events going on in the county. So we want to give you each one as you're leaving, because now we're doing all kinds of printing.
I think we should take this time to thank these